Can I share another story?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this was such an interesting experience for me, completely unexpected. I will also say, like, I do breath work very regularly, almost every day if I can. I'll do a short session, and then about once a week if I can, I'll do like an hour-long session for myself. And so these experiences I'm sharing, these are things that have changed in my life, not necessarily the experiences of the breathwork session itself, which can be very, very powerful. But one of the things that was so fascinating for me to observe earlier this year, and I think that word is key right there, is observance, is part of what breathwork has helped me do, and like meditation helps people do, is to step outside of yourself and become the witness of yourself, right? To start to like see yourself and your reactions and your emotions. And then from that place, which my witness place is more of like my highest self place, right? Like that's my more aligned state. From that place, then like taking action in the world. And so it was really interesting. Earlier this year, I had this experience where, what was it? Oh, my daughter had put a board book through the washing machine and it destroyed our washing machine. Okay. So we were like, oh, I'm not even dealing with this. We just hired someone to come take a look at our washer to see if they could salvage it or fix it, whatever. And do you know when like a repairman come, they give you this window of time and it's like 3 hours, and they could be here at the beginning, but they're most likely going to be like 20 minutes after the window. Um, it was one of those experiences, and I found myself, he wasn't showing up, and it was just me and the girls, and I found myself pacing for 2 hours, so anxious, so like the feeling in my chest. And at first I didn't recognize what was happening, and then about halfway through, maybe an hour in, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think this is normal. Like I realized that I do this every time a stranger shows up to my house. Like even if I know who it is, like I recognize that I have a pattern in my life of being anxious and panicking when someone was going to come to my door. Right. And I just had that thought, and it just kind of dropped in, was like, I don't think that this is how it has to be. Maybe not that it's not normal, but this isn't how it has to be. Like, why am I so anxious about this? Like, it was really like this curiosity. It was like, wait a second, what is going on here? And it was so interesting. So then from that seat of the observer and that seat of the witness, I literally spent another hour, it was probably at least an hour, maybe a little bit more, in that like anxious state, but I had a heightened awareness around it. And it was almost like a download of like experiences in my past where I was anxious about someone coming into the door, which, like, without getting into it, was a trauma response, right? Like I was reliving that trauma response over and over again. Anytime someone came to my door, there was a perceived threat and my body was ready to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And what was so powerful though is that day I let myself feel that emotion. I let myself get anxious. I let myself kind of panic about it. Like I really just got curious and was like, what is going on here? Can I really just feel what this is, name it? I think I journaled about it a little bit. I don't remember exactly. Actually, you know what? I Marco Poloed one of my friends. I ended up, who was kind of aware of my story and my journey. I sent her Marco Polo, and I was just like, this is really interesting. This is what's going on. I know that there's something to process here. So I just kind of talked through like what's coming up, what's the story here. And since that day, my awareness is, it's one of those things that's also like not snapping at my girls. Like it's so incredible to me is that when I have a repairman or like even like the UPS guy like rings the doorbell, my heart steady as a rock, calm. There's not that like quick like uptick. Like I can feel it in my nervous system. It's just like, right, like it's just nothing changes. My system doesn't change. I go answer the door. I can answer the door as like a chaotic hot mess, and it doesn't even faze me, right? Like I'm not like trying to put myself together before I answer the door. It's just like, okay, what do you need? Okay, you're gonna have to give me like 5 to 10 minutes to get this house under control because I have two girls, and then I'll be with you. There's no more just like anxiety, panic attack, or even like people pleasing to
Mm-hmm.
whoever just showed up randomly at my door. Does that make sense? Like that is the effect of having this practice for me. Like that was the effect of two parts: learning how to regulate my nervous system on my own, through the recognition of what is happening and not trying to fix it or change it, but just be with it with love and compassion until it runs its course. And then the second thing is like being able to take that seat of the observer and just witness my experience without judgment, and without trying to fix it or change it, because it just is what it is,